I'm Kylie Minogue. Welcome to 6 o'clock Live.
And watch out, because Beadle's about.
And you struck it lucky, because I'm here too. All right, Frank?
All right, Frank.
No, it's not all right. I introduced this show. Good evening to you. And as you can see, we've a star-studded lineup for you tonight on 6 o'clock Live. Well, they're moderately well-known, I suppose. As well as those three, we've, of course, our own resident starlet, much more famous, Miss Jeni Barnett.
Yes, a starlet. It's one of the better cars in the Toyota range. But the programmes are washed with stars tonight, and that's not all that's on offer. My report, I hope, will broaden your horizons. You see, with these long winter evenings drawing in, I thought it was time I improved my mind. So I've been indulging in a spot of adult education. Mind you, I've got a long way to go before I catch up with a Mrs. Louise Young. She's been taking evening classes for more than half a century and had a lesson or two to teach.
Oh, I've done sport, a little bit of tennis and swimming and badminton and shorthand and typing and French.
Etc., etc., etc. Well, more from Jeni and, of course, Jeremy, Michael and Kylie in a few moments, when we'll also be catching up with the latest news from the Mansells. They're the family we've been following since the beginning of the Gulf crisis. And we'll be meeting the Gom family from High Wycombe, whom our cameras were with this week when their home was repossessed. But first of all, with a roundup of tonight's news from around the southeast, here's Anna Maria. Good evening.
Very good evening to you. Good evening. Our top story, drug bandits may have snatched a tourist visiting the heart of the Peruvian jungle. Birdwatcher Timothy Andrews hasn't been heard of since May. Now there are reports of a shooting. This from Mark Jordan.
From a small hallway in Hertfordshire, a mother coordinates as best she can a search for her missing son in the jungle of Peru.
I've had that before, yes, I've had that news before.
30-year-old Timothy and a friend went missing in May on a birdwatching expedition. The rainforests of Tingo Maria are ruled by drug barons and bandits. The Americans have sent hundreds of undercover agents into Peru to halt the drug trade. Now it's feared that with cameras and binoculars, the two birdwatchers have been mistaken for undercover agents. Today, the Foreign Office told the family one unconfirmed report from a local trader supports that fear.
He'd said that he saw two white men that looked like Timothy and Mike Entwistle being shot and pushed into the river.
I did love him. He was a very nice boy.
What's been the effect of you on these reports from these unconfirmed reports from the Foreign
I'm shattered. I'm shattered. I'm absolutely upset, and my life is. And I'm just trembling, sitting. My wife can cope better. I just can't.
The battle over drugs means this area of Peru is out of control. Information is in short supply. A former British MP has just returned.
It's a wild, anarchic and lawless place. Foreign Office officials themselves cannot go to these places and do anything that the Peruvian authorities themselves can't do.
It's that chaotic?
It is chaotic.
Here outside the Foreign Office, just a short while ago, reports came through from Lima that luggage has been found just outside the jungle. Ministers are being kept up to date. Meanwhile, a family stand by the phone, praying for good news, fearing the worst. Mark Jordan, LWT News, the Foreign Office.
Weathermen have put the south on storm alert. Gusts of 70 miles an hour are expected. Shaman Biavaga is with weatherman Alex Hill at the ITN studio. Sham, what's the latest on these alerts?
That's strong enough to do structural damage.
Well, it looks like the long hot summer's over and it's time once again to batten down the hatches. Alex Hill will tell us why, but first let's look at what happened the last time storms hit Britain.
In January, 47 people died when gale-force winds left a trail of destruction. High-sided vehicles found themselves in trouble, and so did many people. British Rail and London Underground came to a halt, and thousands of commuters were stranded. Bridges and roads were closed, damage to property ran into millions of pounds. Then torrential rain in February brought floods and misery to hundreds. Again, there was chaos on road and rail. Now experts say the coming storm could be as fierce, and emergency services are on alert.
Alex, what can you tell us about the forthcoming storm?
Well, the worst of it for the LWT region looks as though it's got to be in the second half of Monday. To give you some idea, this is a picture of what we expect for the middle of the day on Monday, a deep depression in the middle of England. Wind speeds across the LWT region at this stage, it is a bit early to be very accurate, but we're looking at averages around 50 miles per hour, with gusts up to around 70 miles per hour at least in places, and that's strong enough to do structural damage.
How does that compare with January's gales and also October '87?
For the southeast, January's, it's pretty much on a par with that. October 87 was an awful lot stronger. It was a particularly freakish event.
Thank you, Alex. Anna Maria.
3 men were arrested today following the death of an Epsom schoolgirl in a hit-and-run accident. 16-year-old Jennifer Courtney was killed in this street by a driver who twice went back to look at his victim. She was on her way home from a party. Security at the South London hospital, where an 11-year-old girl was raped, was more concerned with staff instead of patients. An internal report recommends security for patients should be improved and that lighting, surveillance, systems and security staff levels should be reviewed. The children's ward should be scaled down to make supervision easier. The gunman lying in wait for boxing promoter Frank Warren was confronted by a teenager. 17-year-old Bradley Parsons told the Old Bailey today that the gunman looked weird. Former boxing champion Terry Marsh is denying attempting to murder Warren, his former manager. An East London widow faces financial ruin after being stripped of £220,000 damages, which were awarded following the death of her husband. Pauline Hughes of Ilford in Essex must also pay massive legal costs. Jasmine Birtles has the story.
Pauline Hughes' husband died at Whipps Cross Hospital 6 years ago after 3 operations to deal with complications from a gallbladder operation. Mrs. Hughes maintains that although doctors had diagnosed her husband's condition correctly, they'd failed to treat it properly. When appeal judges ruled this week that the hospital had not been negligent, she was devastated.
I was there for 10 weeks while my husband was in hospital. All the time he was dying, I remember everything that happened. And yet nobody believed me. They only believed the doctors. I suppose they're professional people. Why should they believe me?
Now Pauline Hughes faces paying around £100,000 in legal costs. To do this, she'll have to sell the house where she and her 3 children live.
My youngest daughter hid a box full of pennies and 2-pence pieces, said to buy me a Christmas present in case they came and took it away from her.
When William Hughes died at this hospital 6 years ago after 4 complicated and painful operations, he believed that he had provided for his wife and children. Little did he know that now, after years of legal battles, they stood to lose everything that he ever worked for. Jasmine Birtles, LWT News, Whipps Cross.
Network South East has come under attack in the Commons. Surbiton MP Richard Tracy said that commuters face chaos because British Rail have cut trains on branch lines. 40 services have been axed on Southern Region's south-western sector. Richard Tracy joins us now live at Waterloo Station. Mr. Tracy, what are your concerns?
Well, back in the summer, as you said, British Rail did chop the various trains in the southwestern sector of London and across Surrey. On the Chessington line in my constituency, 23 trains were axed, and they told us at the time, when a whole number of Conservative colleagues in Surrey complained, that they would bring them back by the beginning of October. They haven't yet done so, and we're now complaining that as the government's investing £1 million a day at the moment.
Mr. Tracy, may I just say that
South
Network South East actually say they can't provide the services because they can't afford the staff due to the high cost of living in the South East. What's your response?
Well, we've heard that too, but we do believe that they should be managing and recruiting the drivers, and what we're suggesting to them is that they should be looking now at regional pay bargaining, because obviously it is more expensive in the South East, and they ought to be looking at ways of affording the drivers to run these services.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tracy. There we must leave it. Let's hope there's better news for commuters soon. Other news, Westminster Council is investigating London's newest football pools company. It follows claims that thousands of entries have been ignored. Accountants have spent the day at the Bayswater premises of Santana Pools. The company launched last Saturday, received more than 400,000 entries, but founder Mr. Abbey de Ramsey has admitted they were only able to process 28,000. Westminster Council expect an accountant's report early next week. They say criminal charges could follow. A London hospital is worth £10 million less than it was 3 years ago. Queen Charlotte's in Goldhawk Road, West London, was valued at nearly £19 million in 1987. Today, it's just £6.5. It's forced the health authority to abandon plans to sell the site. And finally, we haven't seen much of our reporter Ken Andrew this afternoon. All he said when he left the office was that he was just nipping out for a few minutes on a special assignment.
I know what you're thinking. What's so unusual about a journalist going into a pub? Well, they did say there was something very unique about this one. The Tap and Spile in Walthamstow is a traditional boozer, but what are they drinking?
A pint of tolly bitter, a half a tolly bitter and a nip.
Hang on, what's a nip? Well, it was last seen in Britain's pubs 50 years ago, and it's a third of a pint of beer. The Brent Walker Group has introduced the legal measure into 21 pubs of its Tap and Spile chain.
We serve at least 8 different cask ales in each pub we have, so it enables people to try lots of different ales without going too much over the limit.
A brave move, but surely beer drinkers like their fill in pints, and anything else is, well, a wimp's drink.
Well, it's only gold for me, you know what I mean? Waste of time putting the money across the counter, I think. You just... a third of a pint is gone.
I can't see you standing there with a third of a pint, Jim. Do you drink a third of a pint? Cameraman, he's laughing over there because no one can see him, look.
So in Walthamstow, it's got a long way to go before it catches on, but at least they can say they've only nipped out for a quick one. Ken Andrew, LWT News, on some serious research.
Very serious indeed. And that's all our news this evening. We'll be back at 10:30. Frank.
Thank you very much indeed. That's some assignment. I hardly dare tell you, but Christmas is just 47 shopping days away, and while it's a time of good cheer, it doesn't half cost a lot of money these days, and for thousands of families in the South East, paying for Christmas this year is going to be a bit of a struggle. Mortgage rates, well, they may have come down a bit, but many are still feeling the pinch. In fact, despite lower interest rates, new figures show that the number of house repossessions continues to grow. 238 homes are being taken back by building societies every week.
But what about the human story behind the statistics? Well, this is 25-year-old Trevor Gone, who is a postman. His wife Shirley, who's 23, and their little baby, who's just 6 weeks old. They live in High Wycombe. Like so many young couples these days, they got themselves into financial trouble and fell behind with their mortgage.
So this week, the bailiffs moved in to take back their home, and our cameras were there. Here's what happened in their own words.
This is quite a cheap house for its size, and it was, you know, we quite liked it, nice views and everything, nice part of town. So we decided to come up here and have a look, and then we bought this. We paid $55,000 about 3.5 years ago. As you walk in the door, the house for us, so to speak. At 11:30, the bailiff will be around to take the keys from us, to take the house back. This is the baby's bedroom.
It would have been Emma's bedroom.
Yeah.
We haven't decorated in here, we just left it as it was. Our mortgage payments went up from about 400 to 778, and then we got behind 1 month. Couldn't afford to pay £1,500 next month.
And it just
went on from there. And then with the arrears, they sort of added that onto our monthly payment, and that took it up to £1,084 a month, and couldn't afford that on one salary.
We did phone them, and they were okay for the first 3 to 4 months, I'd say. And then, you know, they wanted their money, and that was the end of the story. And if we didn't pay them the money, they were going to take us to court, which is what they did eventually. And we were given an order to pay everything we owe, plus our mortgage, within 3 months. Or each time it was nearly 4 months in arrears. And the mortgage rate was topped, so it was just impossible.
I'm annoyed and very upset. Very upset. Such a shame, really.
I feel terrible about it, really. I was, especially when we were going to have the baby, I just didn't know what to do. I thought we could cope with it by ourselves, but when the baby came along.
I haven't got any tissues, have I?
Morning.
Morning.
Can we come in?
Yes.
Yeah. Gom, is it?
Yeah.
Have you got somewhere to go?
No, we're going to the council.
Have you been to the council?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
No, shame.
Where's you just going? You got a letter to take?
No.
Yeah, you better take this one. You show them this. The one down the that before. It tells you that you've been buffed out and they probably offer you some sort of accommodation tonight. Anyway.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
You got transport as well, have you?
Yes.
Oh, right.
All right. Okay. So I don't know what to say.
Well, in such a circumstance, there absolutely is nothing to say, is there? Well, with me is Kay Birch from the London Money Advice Unit, and I'll be talking to her a little later on. But first of all, let us return to Trevor and Shirley, who are now living in bed and breakfast in Slough. Shirley, first of all, what's the bed and breakfast like?
It's very pleasant, very pleasant.
You've just got the one room for the three of you.
That's right, yes.
It looks very neat and tidy.
It is, it's very neat. It's one of the better ones in Slough anyway.
But not like home.
No, definitely not.
Have you got over the shock of the eviction yet?
Just about, yes.
How are you feeling now?
Seeing that film again brought it all back actually, so I was a bit upset again.
Trevor, what is the plan now? What are you going to do?
We'll have to speak to the council again. We've got an appointment to see them on Monday morning, but until then, there is nothing we can do.
And you're hoping what, for council accommodation?
Yes, in High Wycombe.
And will you qualify for that, Shirley, do you think?
We don't know, we're still waiting for a decision on that.
And how long will that take to be arrived at?
We've got no idea, no idea.
Now, John, you're a postman and your job is back in High Wycombe, isn't it, where the house was?
Yeah, that's right.
And you're, what, 12, 13, 14 miles away?
Yeah,
How are you getting to and fro?
Well, a friend of mine leaves his house about 3:30 every morning, comes all the way over to pick me up, take me back to Wycombe, and then I'll catch the bus back, normally.
Shirley, are you determined to fight back?
Yes, I think I will be after this.
You think you've got enough determination to get yourself out of the situation?
Yes, I've got to really.
Well, let me come on to Kay Birch, who's sitting alongside me from the Citizens Advice Bureau Money Advice Support Unit. Could the Goms have avoided that situation?
No, unfortunately, I think they're in a position that many people at this time are in. Usually with mortgage arrears, we're actually seeing cases where there's been some drastic change in circumstances which has caused a problem. So perhaps somebody's lost a job or been off sick. But certainly since October, November last year, we're seeing people who are basically in arrears because of the interest rate situation, the general cost of living.
What advice should be given to them, and when should it be given?
Well, the first thing to do is don't panic and don't think that the problem's going to go away. They certainly did the right thing by going to talk to the lender straight away, because at the end of the day the lender can only help if you tell them there's a problem. And the thing to do is to write down how much money you've got coming in, write down where your money's going at the end of every month, take it along to the lender, and then they can go through the best options for your situation with you.
Yes, what hasn't come out so far is that they took out a second mortgage, they remortgaged to help pay off the first. That sounds like bad advice they got from somewhere.
No, that's definitely not the thing to do initially, because obviously if you're having problems paying your first mortgage, then taking out another one usually adds to the problem rather than making it better. So certainly people should always go and take advice first before ever thinking about borrowing any more money.
Well, Trevor and Shirley have been listening to this. Let's go back to Slough. Shirley, I know you've got a question for Kay. What do you want to ask her?
I'd like to ask, can the Building Society still charge us for the mortgage, you know, ask for mortgage payments each month even though we're not living there?
Right, well what happens in this case is that interest carries on clocking up until the property's actually sold. So although Trevor and Shirley won't actually be asked for the mortgage payments month by month, those costs will still keep on adding up until the property's actually sold.
And you're worried, are you, Shirley, that what will happen if the house is sold for less than the money you borrowed on it? Is that right?
Well, yeah, it will be sold for less than we've borrowed, so obviously we're going to end up owing even more money.
Do they continue to have that debt if there's a difference between what they paid and what the building society sells?
Yes, technically yes. If there is a shortfall between the value of the property and the mortgage, then technically people are liable for that. What tends to happen in this situation, however, is the lender is usually insured against that shortfall.
Yes.
And unless they think there is money from elsewhere, they're very unlikely to follow it up.
And the secret is get advice early, and you can in fact reschedule your problem and reschedule the debt in a way, although it might take a long time to get yourself out of trouble.
Yes, I mean, building societies do not want to repossess property. They will only do it if there's no other way out at all. So they can possibly extend the term of the loan. It might be possible to add the arrears onto the end. There are options, but you do need to take advice early.
OK, thank you very much indeed. And in Slough, Trevor and Shirley, thank you very much indeed. We wish you all the best, and we hope it all turns out OK. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. Well, we'll take a break now, but don't go away, because still to come on 6 o'clock Live, we'll be striking it lucky as Michael tells all about the night of 100 stars. We'll be finding out how you can be framed with a helping hand from Beadle. Plus, we'll be stepping back in time with the marvellous Miss Minogue. Welcome back. Now, it's billed as one of the biggest ever gatherings of British show business stars. Scylla, Aspel, Forsyth, Frost, Davidson, Russ Abbott, they'll all be there. Why? Well, it's called a night of 100 stars, and it's all about raising money for charity first and foremost. It's also, though, a tribute to the television producer David Bell. He gave many of the stars who will be appearing at the Palladium their first big break, including our first special guest tonight, Mr. Michael Barrymore.
How are you? Okay, ready? There you are. Right, keep still. Ray Allen seen
Put that lady down and come and join me.
Yeah,
It was called the
how about
Russ
that?
Abbott Madhouse, wasn't it?
It was.
Was it generally like that?
Yes, it was, very much so.
Yeah.
Due to David as well.
I see.
Got my list here.
You spent a lot of your time standing on your head, as I recall.
At the beginning, yes, which sort of started to wear it away a bit.
Did it?
Slightly.
But no lasting effect, really.
Well, yeah, well, I've got a bump there. You know, like you get corns on your feet. I've got the reverse.
Yeah.
Up there.
You know, I noticed you're thinning. You know they've got the health cure now, the hair cure. It's
Oh, the new one,
Yeah.
the tube, the plastic tube.
That's right.
Yes. Do you know what you're talking about?
No, I don't. Listen, the standing on the head, we're going to see it in a moment. Not
Yes.
just yet, the standing on the head. Did you do that in the clubs? Is that one of your tricks in the
Yeah,
clubs?
I started doing it in the clubs and in the various venues at the very beginning, just to get attention. You know, it's a good icebreaker. And then eventually I went through the ice, and I was saved by David Bell. He
Did you
saved my career.
ever die in the clubs? You know how the old stagers said, "Oh, I died at the Glasgow Empire." Did you ever die in the clubs?
I was paid off. I remember 6 weeks on the trot. I was paid off every night of the week. You know, I was just told to forget it, and you know, I said, what should I do? You know, give them a fiver and saying that was it. And I remember working a club one night, and there were 16 people in, and then at the end of it, you know, I said, "Oh, it's no good, you can't do it." And they were a circus from Belgium, which they didn't tell me. I mean, they couldn't understand a word I was saying anyway. And that was in Barnsley or somewhere like that.
Lovely. Well, thank heaven for David Bell. Where did you first meet him? Did he give you a chance?
First saw me in Bournemouth. I was bottom of the bill. He came down and saw me there, and he put me on the Russ Abbott Madhouse. And like many others, he gave a great big chance to people who, you know, he made you feel as important as anybody else.
Let's remind the customers exactly of this amazing tour de force. Here we go.
G'day. Now, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Bruce, and I'd like to do a few impersonations, and will you please note how lifelike they are? Now, here's the first one, Mr. Michael Crawford.
Very gymnastic. You don't mind saying
Very, yes, and cut away from the gag. Good timing. You've got a director on the show, have you?
No, we haven't, as it happens.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Now then, strike it lucky. It strikes me that you're tremendously energetic in this party. I mean, all that constant rushing to and fro. I mean, it keeps you very fit, doesn't it?
It does keep me very fit, and originally, when it was done in America, they used to have it on 2 levels, because the guy that did it, they couldn't manage the 3.
Yeah.
And it is very, very tiring.
You're taking it to America, where it has already flopped, without you, I hasten to add, but you have great hopes of it this time.
Well, we do have great hopes of it. I'm doing other things as well there. I mean, I'm not leaving the country.
Right.
I mean, so I'm not suddenly packing up and going away. We're going over to do a bit at a time. We're going March and April next year.
Yeah.
Do a bit there and see how it goes from there.
Right, well, let's remind ourselves of it. Here's a couple of ladies. Boy, do you get them going on this show. It's quite remarkable. Here we go.
No scripts.
Dancing and singing. We do a bit of everything.
What do you do? Do you sing?
Yeah, we both
Oh,
do.
don't start encouraging them. Sing a song.
Sing together.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
What do you do? What number? What's your favourite number?
Blackpool Bell.
Huh?
Blackpool Bell.
Blackpool Bell. Go on then, off you go.
Oh, the Blackpool Bell was a getaway train bound from the northern station. A beautiful sight on a Saturday night, bound for the illumination.
Well, good luck with America in that. Of course, America, it's like a kind of piranha pool for British comedians, isn't it?
Well, it has been, but I'm just going to take it for what it is, see what happens, and obviously keep all my options open here.
Lovely. And you're looking forward to the Night of 100 Stars?
Which is on the 26th of November at the Palladium, and tickets are available for anybody who'd like to at the Palladium box office or London Weekend. I'll tell them where to get them.
Thank you very much indeed
Thank
for
you,
dropping
Frank.
by. Now then, next week on 6 o'clock Live, we'll be celebrating 100 years of the London Underground.
Yes, you could say that 6 o'clock Live is going down the tubes. And to mark the network's birthday, we'll be getting up to all sorts of weird and wonderful things. For example, I'll be going underground to join the night shift that cleans up after the mess we tube travellers leave behind. I don't know that if you know, you two over there, that the average human loses 6 hairs an hour. Although in your case, yes, it's probably a lot more.
Can I don't give it all away. We're doing it next week, not this week. Okay,
all right, sorry.
One thing I do really want to tell everybody about, in advance that is, if you're not giving it all away, is our special centenary contest to find the new voice who'll say... Mind the gap.
Yes, we're told that the same mind the gap voice has been used on the Northern Line for nigh on 60 years. You must be very old and tired by now. And yours could become the voice to replace it. All you have to do is to send us a cassette with your own rendition of Mind the Gap. Stand clear of the doors, please, and write to the address...
Mind the Gap. 6 o'clock live, LWT, PO Box 50, London SG1 9LQ.
And don't forget to include your own name and address and daytime telephone number, but you'll have to be quick because we'll be holding the finals next Friday. Frank?
Thank you very much. Now then, one story that's dominated the newspapers this week has been Edward Heath's mission to try and get British hostages out of Iraq. Well, the good news is that he brought 38 of them home on Wednesday, but that still leaves 1,400 Britons still trapped.
Which is bad news for grandmother Sybil Parrott and her family from Basingstoke, whom we've been following throughout the Gulf crisis. Whilst her daughter-in-law Anne and 3 grandchildren were allowed to go home a few months ago, sadly her son Stephen Mansell was not one of the 38 released this week.
Well, he's still being held captive in Kuwait, and his wife Anne and children 14-year-old Stuart, 13-year-old Joanna and Stephanie, Stephanie's 3, have no idea really when they'll see him again. But they're not just sitting back and waiting. This weekend they're taking part in a march through central London, and the children are planning a delegation to the Iraqi embassy to hand in letters they've written to Saddam Hussein pleading for their father's release. They last saw him a couple of months ago.
Joanna, Stuart and Stephanie Mansell. Since leaving their father behind in Iraq, Mother Anne has had to become both mum and dad to all 3. At first, they were simply glad to be home. But now, as days drag into weeks and months, their fears for their father are taking their toll. Like most dads, Steve was always there. Now he's 4,000 miles away, sharing a cell with 4 other hostages as a prisoner of Saddam Hussein. Meanwhile, his only son, 14-year-old Stuart, has taken on the role of man of the house.
I wash the car. I do all sorts of jobs like going up to the post office, taking letters and things.
What's it like not having your dad here?
Very upsetting, and with my baby sister, it's she always wants him, and it's just like a jigsaw puzzle without missing a piece.
What do you miss most about your dad at the moment?
Waking up in the morning to find him down in the kitchen, because he always gets up early and goes down, sits in the kitchen until we're all up, you know. And past few mornings I've been going down, sort of semi-conscious, you know, expecting him.
Stuart's having problems coping with the situation. He tends to be a very quiet boy and will sit in a corner. Joanna, she talks a lot, so she can get it out of her system, and I feel she's coping quite well. But Stephanie's having a few problems psychologically, and now she's started all the time she wants her daddy, and this is a great worry.
No, he's in Holiday Inn.
He's at the Holiday Inn, right?
He's
okay,
in
fine.
Holiday Inn playing squash, and he's coming. Love you, Daddy.
I think she misses him very much, because the way she keeps saying, "Wonder what the soldiers have done with Daddy. Daddy's at Holiday Inn." She thinks he's at Holiday Inn, but she doesn't know the truth, that he's not in Holiday Inn, that he's with the soldiers. At times you sort of get depressed and you think about, oh no, where's Dad? And you come home and you realise he's not there. It's just a bit lonely. It just isn't family life without Dad.
The children used to watch every TV bulletin for news of their father's return, but after endless disappointments, Mum disconnected the TV and now only allows old home videos.
That's my daddy.
We're hoping to see a doctor, inshallah. Last night I only slept about 2 hours. I hope you're coping with the children and they are behaving themselves. Give them my love and tell them I miss them. Well, sweetheart, must close. I love you and miss you very much.
As if things weren't bad enough, Anne is having to survive on just an allowance from her husband's company. But it's not enough to pay all the bills.
Well, if it goes on long term, I'm going to have to sell the house. I've got no option. I'm now looking around for a job so that I can go out and get some money.
The Mansell family are clearly not going to be beaten. This weekend, they're joining a 50-strong children's protest demanding action from 10 Downing Street. And they've written to Saddam Hussein, pleading for the release of their father.
If my father is a guest, why may he not contact his family, relatives and friends? I expect this letter is just another one of your many other letters. If my father is to stay in Iraq, please look after him.
I know you're in a bit of a tight situation, but it would be nice to have my dad home for Christmas. Please let him come home as soon as possible. Thank you. Stuart Mansell.
Put our presents out, we'd sort of hide and see them doing it. And then we used to wake up, and my dad used to get his camera. The last few years he got his camera and he always filmed us coming down about 5 times until he got it right. I hope my dad comes here Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Well, we all wish that for everybody. What a terrific family that is.
Aren't they wonderful? Out the mouths of babes, though. They're just so simple. They're just, you know...
But it's strange that out of adversity often comes enormous strength in a situation like that, and that's a terrific example of it. Well, now then, last week we ran out of time to give you the name of the winner of our bread competition, the prize, 2 tickets for the gala opening of the stage show at the Dominion, plus backstage passes for the cast party afterwards.
And the question set by our Jack and Leonora, actors Vic Maguire and Deborah Grant, was which pop couple appeared in the TV series Bread? And the answer, of course, is Paul and Linda McCartney. And the first correct answer out of the hat was from Joanne Taylor, who lives in Aldershot. Well done.
It's catch up with competition time. While we're at it, the results of our vampire contest. Did you remember that last week? Set by the Hollywood actress Jennifer Beals.
The correct answers. The literary creator of vampires was Bram Stoker, and Transylvania is in modern-day Romania. And the winner is John Cummings from Hounslow in Middlesex. Well done, John, who wins the Lumpolly Dracula tour to Transylvania. Frankie darling.
Well, our second star guest tonight, and there's still, of course, Kylie to come, hosts one of the most popular shows on television. He attracts more viewers than the likes of EastEnders and Neighbours, and is watched every week by more than 13 million people. Welcome aboard the Starship 6 o'clock live to Jeremy Beadle. You've never had
You did that without moving.
I did. I'll bet you've never had a vampire competition, have you?
No. No. It's a good idea, though, isn't it?
It is terrific.
Probably do something with the dentist.
This Beadle's about, it's just going from strength to strength. I mean, why has it taken on this new lease of life? It's in its 5th smash hit year at the moment.
It gets bigger and bigger, I think, because the press attack us, and the more they attack us, and the more that they deride us, the more the public like us.
Yeah, what is the criticism you get?
Basically cruelty, and it can't be cruel because the loved ones set each other up, and they're always there. The people who we play jokes on always give permission. It's a very affectionate tease, and the vast majority of people understand that. It's the papers sometimes make easy copy out of the fact that we supposedly are cruel, and we're not at all.
Yes. Do you run out of ideas, or do you get plenty of ideas coming in?
No, there are as many ideas as there are people writing in, and we get about 30,000 letters, mainly people setting others up.
Yeah.
We have the ideas ourselves.
And, of course, the viewers watching so many millions because there's somehow this compulsive interest in seeing people set up like that. And that's why people complain, I think, because you think, well, is it right, quite right? But people enjoy watching it.
Oh, yes, they set each other up, but they know that in the end everything's going to be restored, and they've been made famous and they've had a lot of fun.
Now then, you've been framed. This is the other one you're doing at the moment.
Yes.
Now, I haven't seen much of this, and people keep on telling me about what they call the dog polisher that I missed. Can we have a look at the dog polisher? Here he comes.
Do you know, the strange thing is I've been writing television shows for 10, 20 years, and you can't write really classic humour. It's there or it isn't. And that dog was just loving it, and the more that you see it, and it runs for about 15 minutes, the actual tape.
Yeah. And are people shooting videos for you all the time? I suspect they're beginning to shoot them for you now, aren't they?
Not yet. I suspect they will, but we're only looking for those pieces that you can't script, that are totally unpredictable. There is, and there will be, a new show, and I'm working on that already, where we will ask people to make videos for us.
Yeah.
But
because they're taking their little camcorders, they're so compact now, they don't just take them on holiday, they carry them to work, they take them all over the place, don't they?
That's it. That's why we're getting more and more material. It's not just weddings, not just holidays, it's at work, it's at school play, sports days.
And some of it pretty untransmittable, I suspect.
I suggested today that we could possibly do a late night version. I won't go into details.
What are you going to do on the night of 100 stars? You're reviving one of your old teams, Game for a Laugh, aren't you?
Yes, not so old, but yes, Matthew, Henry and Sarah and I are getting together to pay tribute to David Bell. Super. And in fact, the cast list of that 100 stars is phenomenal, and tickets are still available.
Lovely. Thanks very much for coming in. Now then, we'll take another break now, but still to come in the final part of 6 o'clock Live. Well, Jenny's not clowning around here. She's doing a turn on the evening class circuit. And do meet America's latest young pop sensation, the amazing Love Hewitt. And stand by for a veteran of pop at the ripe old age of 22. It's Miss Minogue. That's in a couple of minutes. Don't miss it. Hello again. Now, if you feel like broadening your horizons, even improving your mind, but you haven't got much money to spare, we've got just the answer for you.
That's right. To find out how you can do this, I've been out every night this week investigating. It's not what you think. I haven't been eating, drinking and out your father. I've been to evening classes. Please don't groan. They're not all bookkeeping and upholstery. Nowadays, they're much more exciting and even more popular than ever before. Despite all the cutbacks in education we've been reading about, there they go. And at around 65p an hour, I could not resist having a go.
No, these long winter evenings, there's nothing on the telly. Life is so empty. I really ought to feed my mind as well as my tummy, but evening classes, it's all flower arranging and basket weaving. Oh, maybe I'm just being a dullard. Why don't I just go and find out? But where do you begin in your search for the perfect course? It's all so confusing when it comes to adult education. There's just so much to choose from.
Jenny, are you confused? I can tell you everything you want to know.
You can't, can you?
Yes, I can.
And the lady's not kidding. Louise Young has been evening classing for over 50 years. Hundreds of sculptures, paintings and drawings, and it's not just art. Louise is a genuine courseaholic.
I've done sport, a little bit of tennis and swimming and badminton, and shorthand and typing and French. I think I might have been very bored if I hadn't had the night school.
So what advice does the Dulwich doyenne of self-education have for me?
Think of what you want to do, something you really want to do, and go along to the school and they will welcome you with open arms.
So armed with this advice, I headed for Pimlico. I'd had a tip-off about a trio of evening class superwomen. Could they help me find the perfect course? Ah, there they are. Mary, Sue and Camilla. And between them, they've done every course in the book.
Homeopathy, first aid, reflexology, self-defence.
Aqueducts, keep fit, sailing, interior decoration, craft, needlework, massage, basically anywhere there's a creche.
Isn't that wonderful? Why don't we go and do some further education? So they agreed to give me a flavour of what you can do at a typical centre on a typical day. And one of their favourites is home decorating. Tonight's lesson, sponging and stippling. And how have you used this in your life?
We've actually been really lucky. We've picked up quite a few old bits of furniture from second-hand shops and painted them. And then you get a good effect without spending an awful lot of money.
And now for something completely different.
You're not concentrating hard enough, Jenny.
Well, technology's not for me. What about something a bit more hearty? Oh, how bracing. Another course. I do hope it's relaxing.
No, it's not going to be.
Enjoy it.
Wait! Could this be what I'm looking for? Our super active threesome have found a course you'd never expect in the very heart of London. Sailing.
It's something I've never really had the chance to learn about. I'm a townie. Didn't know you could sail in London before. Feeling of freedom to get out of my small flat and be out in the fresh air. It's lovely, isn't it?
What's the kicking stroke doing? No, the other one. Jenny, be careful, don't fall in. Don't stand up in the boat. Mind the anchor. Ow!
Well, that was lovely. Very invigorating, but I feel that I need something that's a little more me, something that feeds my soul.
It was time to go in search of a course that's a bit more up my street to suit my artistic leanings. Oh, this is much more like it. Bags are fun in North London. Look, circus clowning just for me. And there's masses of other courses, all for 65p an hour. Acting workshop.
He carried the body to the centre of the court, walking on his...
Choir workshop. I wonder if there's anything else on offer. The fire of the Spanish flamenco. This is Zandra Escudero tempting my cool blood with her evening dance class. Would I succumb? No, it's not entirely me. Finally, though, I found it. The clown class with Jerry Flanagan. Just the job.
Very good, Jenny. Now let's try something very simple. The simple things always work. The fall. This way. The foot behind the back of the other foot. Body forward. Weight back. And we go to the ground. Very good. Like a nut. It's an old gag, Jenny, but what's important, like everything, is the timing. You must have the timing right. Now, are you ready? Come on. Not the timing. The time, like this.
Oh. Splat.
Lovely. Did you come to any conclusion whatsoever? I thought you liked the sailing.
I did like the sailing. It was wonderful to be in the middle of the Thames on a sailing boat. But I want to be a clown. I like being the clown. I have to say that this is serious stuff. Oh, number one, serious stuff. Yes, creches are in all the polytechnics in London, so you can get out there if you've got the kids. And the other thing is, if you want to do all trapeze stuff and trampolining, down the old circus place in Islington.
The variety is clearly enormous, isn't it? You can do almost anything. Yeah. That's great. Well, now then, a few years ago, every pop star had a hard-drinking, fast-living image, but perhaps times are changing a bit. This week, Danny met a hot new star who's just a little bit different. She's not interested in boyfriends, she goes roller skating every day, she swoons over New Kids on the Block, and her mum goes to every concert with her.
The 70s was the decade of the child pop star. Whenever you turned on the TV, the likes of Lena Zavaroni and Bonnie Langford were singing their hearts out.
Kids used to entertain in a special way.
Nowadays, your average pop icon is more likely to be going through a midlife crisis than puberty, but this could be about to change. I've been tipped off that a new star was in town, name of Love Hewitt. Head on down to one of the bars, they said, Rock Island Cafe. Have a lager, please, mate.
Sorry, this is a milkshake-only bar.
Yeah? What's that?
Chocolate milkshake.
Give us a chocolate milkshake.
Coming right up. Here you go.
Top stuff.
Are you Danny Baker?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Love Hewitt.
You're Love Hewitt?
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry. I was expecting someone...
Older.
Yeah, older, yeah. At the age of 11, Love Hewitt's already a veteran. She's been dancing on stage since she was 6, just finished a 6-week world tour, made a TV commercial with Michael Jackson, and now she's in London, putting the finishing touches to her first single.
When I was 3, I used to mimic songs off the radio, and then, like, I could hear it, and then in an hour I'd know every word, and I would sing it to my mom. Da, da.
Yeah.
And then when I was 6, I did my first performance ever.
6?
Yes, and I wasn't nervous one bit.
You must know it's not ordinary what you do.
No, it's not. I do feel a little bit, but it's kind of neat feeling that way, feeling a little bit different. I've always wanted to be a little bit different from people.
Don't you have to be nasty to be a pop singer?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah,
You can be sweet, and you can be kind, and you can care about other people. You don't have to be mean.
Is it tough?
No, it's fun.
You're the first person I've ever said that to has said that. You go, well, yeah, it's tough, but...
Nope, it's fun. It's all fun.
Good news.
And the minute it stops being fun, I have to get out.
She may be 11 going on 25, but aren't the pressures too much on one so young? Her mum, Pat, travels everywhere with her, and she doesn't think pop stardom's damaging love.
When you look at her and you're with her, you know she's happy. So at 11, what could you want for her more than to be with her family and be loved and be happy? You absolutely can look at it and see it as a 11-year-old child having a very good time.
Yeah.
It's nothing more than that. Don't look beyond it. It's just what she is.
It's a big adventure. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think I'm getting to see more.
When do you think you're going to be at the peak of your talents?
The peak of my talent.
At what age do you think you're really going to, that's it, arrive?
12.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, you're a mother. What do you think of that?
Well, my 3.5-year-old is going to come, Mummy, I want to sing Debbie Harry songs and lipstick and hat. She can forget it. Bethany, bed.
Get the message, Beth, do you? Well, now, I won't make any comparisons, but I bet one superstar that young lady there would like to emulate is our final guest tonight. Welcome, Kylie Minogue. What do you think of that young lady?
11. I don't know what to think of that, actually.
They come out of America like that, don't they?
They do, don't they? I can't believe it.
You were 17 when you hit stardom, and you were young enough then to cope with it, weren't you?
Yeah, I had enough trouble at 17.
But she seems to be able to live with it.
She does.
Do you think she'll get on?
Well, gosh, I don't know. I mean, at 11, and you think... Well, I don't know, I didn't see all of that, but it seems as though she's kind of got her head together and she knows that it might not last forever. That's one good thing.
Just having a good time.
Yeah.
You, in fact, you're looking very good, and we've been talking earlier tonight. You're very sort of together now, aren't you? You're feeling rather more mature than you were at 22.
It's a nice feeling to be in control of what I'm doing and just relax a bit.
What does that mean, being in control of what you're doing?
I mean, in the last year or 18 months, my life has just changed. I have really changed and become a much calmer person and just in control of what I'm doing, which is really nice.
And you've got a nice steady relationship now, haven't you? Is that
yes,
good
I do,
for you?
and that's a great influence on me.
Michael, does he look after you well? Is he a good chap to have around?
Yeah, he does.
Do you remember the last time you were here, you said you rather hoped he would ask you...
You're trying to marry me off on the show.
No, well, you know, it's a running story here, because you popped it out that you know, you'd rather like him to ask you to marry him. I just wondered if he had...
Oh, no. I was saying it would be flattering to have someone ask you to marry them.
Yeah, I see, somebody.
I was very careful with that.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Now then, the single is called A Step Back in Time. Is that a deliberately chosen title? Why that particular title?
Well, it's just, I mean, fashion and music, it's always going back in time, and the song is really just a collection of catchphrases from the 70s, you know, bus stop and get down and all that, and it's just, I mean, the song's done with a sense of humour, and particularly the film clip is.
Yes. Well, we're going to see that in just a second, but are you saying that is it new material or is it reworked material?
Well, it's not a copy of an old song, it's just got bits of lots of old songs, yeah.
Because you wouldn't remember that in the 60s and 70s, would you? You were just a baby in arms at the time.
No, it's a chance for me to kind of wear platforms now. Because I was in primary school and wanted platforms and I wasn't allowed.
Well, let's see a little clip from the A Step Back in Time. Here it is. It'll remind one or two people of where they were.
To get down and boogie, all you can do is step back in time. Ball of confusion when nothing is new and there's nothing doing. Step back in time. When you can't find the music to get down and boogie, all you can do is step back in time.
Well, I tell you, I was almost young when they were playing that sort of music.
Almost.
Now, what are you doing in London? You're here for 10 days. What do you like to do here? Can you get around? Are you so famous now that you're pestered or what?
No, I managed to get around. I was just down King's Road today having a bit of a shop. I've been coming here for quite a while now, so I have some good friends and I more or less know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So it's great to come back, and I'm here just promoting for a while.
Yeah, good. Well, we've got, you brought with you six albums.
I did. I haven't got them here, but they're
around there and they're autographed, and we're asking you to ask the viewers a question so that they can perhaps win one.
Oh, a question. Okay.
Have you got a question
for
them?
Let's have a look at... crash bang.
Here
they come. Da-da-da.
Oh,
here
there
it
are the
is.
albums.
Okay, why don't I ask you... Oh, look, this has kind of put me on the spot. Well, this will be really difficult, but I guess if anyone's read any press, they'll know. Where were these photos taken?
Where were the Kylie photos taken on the cover, right?
That's right.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. We hope you have a good stay and the thing does well. Thank you. Good to see you again. You're looking very good. The address to write to, by the way, Kylie Competition, 6 o'clock live, P.O. Box 50, LWT, London, SE1 9LQ. Thanks, Kylie. That's it for another week. Next Friday, don't forget, it's our Tube Centenary Special. Until then, it's good night from me and from Jeni. Good night now.
Night.
Those endless days, those sacred days you gave me, I'm thinking of the day. I won't forget a single day, believe me. I bless the light that shines on you, believe me. And though you're gone, you're with